Currently for pretty much 5 years. From the year 2017 up to date, I've been in this industry actively. But I started trading actively in the year 2019. From 2017 all the way to 2019, I was just in the industry, seeing how projects are doing, but I started doing it actively from the year 2019. So that being said, let's now check what basically brought us here. And as I mentioned earlier, this is my first account that I created on local Bitcoin account. This was the popular exchange back then. Anyone who was getting into crypto had an account with localbitcoin.com because most of these applications or systems that are coming up right now were not there at that particular time. So you can see that I basically bought my first crypto, that is 5 years, 2 months ago, in the year 2017, and that was Bitcoin. And living a life of regret in some way, because in 2017, the price of one Bitcoin was basically trading at 100,000 Kenya shillings. But right now, if you check the price of Bitcoin, I'm sure it's more than that amount rather, because from 100,000, I've seen Bitcoin grow all the way to $67,000, $68,000. Bitcoin come down back to 18,000, go back up to 50,000, go back 30,000. I've seen all these bears and bull runs. So that means that the industry is always there, although it's volatile, but as long as you know how to time the market, time the industry, then you're going to make it big in this particular industry. So as I mentioned back then, the price of Bitcoin was 100,000 shillings, and that is when I bought my first Bitcoin in the year 2017. So about Apex Academy, what is this Apex Academy and what do we basically do? So Apex Academy, as I mentioned, is an online community where we intend to bring together all crypto enthusiasts across the world, not just in Kenya, but globally. And we aim at creating networks that will ensure that we have a safe crypto community. So what exactly prompted for us to bring this academy, or what was the reasons behind the formation of Apex Crypto Academy? So the first thing that we realized is that we have very serious misinformation about cryptocurrency. For example, if you mention the word Bitcoin or crypto to anyone in Kenya, the first thing they're going to tell you is that is a scam. But this is just a myth and misconception that people have allowed it to sink into their brains, or to sink into their brains rather. They don't see the opportunity that is being presented to them through the cryptocurrency industry and the crypto market. Also, we are receiving a lot of consultations about crypto. Maybe someone wants to know how to buy a coin through P2P. The next day they want to know how to trade. The next day they want to know how to buy a token. Then next day they want to know how to identify a good project, how to distinguish between a legit project from a rug pull or a scam. And those were the reasons that were behind the formation of Apex Crypto Academy. So we have a mission. The number one mission is to train and equip people with adequate crypto knowledge, which I've actually explained when we were starting. Then we intend to raise as many crypto millionaires as possible. And this is made possible because of the issue of projects that are always coming up. In the course of our presentation, we're going to see what are these projects that can easily give you good money in crypto if you enter them early at the right time. Also, we have a mission that aims at creating a reliable and safe crypto community, as I mentioned earlier, because we'll have a forum basically of people who are all in the crypto industry. And these people, they have a knowledge about the industry such that even if you mention something on that particular forum, everyone can be able to relate, because all of those guys have been through the academy and they know basically what is going on in the market, and you can be able to speak one particular language. Unlike having a forum where you have people who are newbies, others are pro, others don't have any information about crypto. Then you come up with a term like we have a token that is being launched. Guys are asking what's a token. So that is basically one of the missions, so that we ensure we have that reliable and safe community. So before I proceed, I would like to echo some sentiments that our country, Kenya, is actually one of the leading countries in form of crypto adoption. There's a video I did some time back where I was highlighting the top countries that are in crypto adoption, and Kenya was actually one of the top countries in Africa. It's only Nigeria who are ahead of us, but it's due to their large population size. But if you take the population metrics in terms of the size, you'll find that Kenya has a higher adoption rate compared to Nigeria. Because as you can see on this particular section, 8.5% of Kenya's population, that translates to about 4.25 million individuals, they own these cryptocurrencies. But in Nigeria, you'll find that this value of 4.2 million is higher. But when you get the percentage of the population of guys who own cryptocurrency, Kenya is leading. So that is why it's important for you who is in this meeting and you're not part of this 4.25 million, you should basically ask yourself some questions that what are you not doing right that your counterparts are doing right. So having gone through about that and seeing how crypto is adopted in our country, let's dive in and see basically what is expected of you when you come to our online academy, that is Apex Crypto Academy. So the first thing that is expected of you is to know a brief introduction of basically what are cryptocurrencies, price history, the issue of the appreciation together with the aspect of volatility, and also the issue of liquidity and the perfect hedge against inflation. So basically, what are cryptocurrencies? And cryptocurrencies, these are basically digital assets or digital currencies that can be used to do trades. You can use them to buy products. You can use them to pay for goods and services. It's basically digital money that you can use to do any particular form of transaction. And the main problem which people normally face when you bring in the terms cryptocurrency, they always relate cryptocurrencies with Bitcoin. But what people don't know actually is that Bitcoin is just a form of cryptocurrencies. Because currently, if you check this particular page on CMC, we have 21,073 cryptocurrencies. So when someone just mentioned Bitcoin as crypto, I look at them and pity them very much because they absolutely have no idea what they are talking about. It's only that Bitcoin is ranked as the #1 crypto because of its high market cap and the value basically. And that is why I guess people tend to confuse Bitcoin with crypto. So crypto is general, Bitcoin is just a form of cryptocurrency. So we're also going to look at the issue of price history. As I mentioned earlier, when I got my first Bitcoin in 2017, maybe we can just have a look at where Bitcoin was back then in 2017. Let's just go quickly to the historical data of Bitcoin. That's where we are. Date range, let's check 2017, around January there. So 1st of January. If you check how much one Bitcoin was, the value of one Bitcoin was about $998. Pretty something slightly above 100,000 Kenya shillings. So 2017 to now, that's a period of 5 years. So if you take a scenario of two people, let's say we have person A and we have person B. In 2017, all these guys had about 1 million Kenya shillings. So there is one guy who put his 1 million on Bitcoin. I believe he got about 10 Bitcoins. Then there is this other guy who with his 1 million went ahead somewhere deep in the suburbs there, bought a very nice piece of land for that 1 million Kenya shillings. If you are to bring those two guys together right now and you start with the guy who bought the land, maybe the land has appreciated to about 2 or 3 million on the higher side. So 1 million it has returns of about 3 million. Or let's give him a higher amount. Let's give him about 4 million so that the land has appreciated about 4x. But I believe that is very, very rare. On this other hand, you have this guy who bought Bitcoin. With his 1 million, he got about 10 Bitcoins. If that guy is to sell his Bitcoin right now, he will sell 1 Bitcoin at a cost of $18,000. So that means with these 10 Bitcoins, he's going to have about $180,000, translating to about 20 million there. So you can see the return on investment for crypto vis-a-vis return on investment on these other assets. So one thing you should learn about crypto, it needs patience. It's not a quick get-rich scheme, but we have these short projects that I'm going to show you the presentation on how you can basically enter them at an early phase and exit them at an advanced stage or a perfect stage to exit those particular projects. So you can see that Bitcoin has really grown. And there's a video that was going around, I think, some time back, where our outgoing CS for ICT, that is Joe Musheru, was talking about how he put his money on Bitcoin. Then he got about like 10 times his investment. And I believe he got in much early when Bitcoin was pretty much low. And he was able to exit when Bitcoin was doing pretty much amazing. So one thing we are going to discuss about the issue of asset appreciation and volatility, which I've briefly touched on. And one thing about crypto is that these prices are not stagnant. They keep moving up and down depending on the activity that is going in the market. For example, if we have so many buyers, of course, we expect the graphs to go up. If we have so many sell-offs, we expect the graphs to go down. But the best time to enter into crypto is now. Why am I saying the best time is now? Because currently, what you're having in the market is more of a bear trend, such that so many coins and so many projects are falling down in price. You can see Bitcoin is down 1% in the last 24 hours. It's now down below $20,000 mark. If you see other projects, they have slightly fallen below their prices. So this basically implies in about 2, 3, 4 weeks time, most of these projects which are now in the red zones are going to turn in the greens, because as I mentioned, the market does not move in a single direction. So those guys who bought Bitcoin at $18,000, of course, in the next 2, 3 weeks, the graph is going to change, things are going to work in their favor, and they're going to start collecting profits from the coins that I bought. Unlike people who went ahead and bought these other assets that don't have that aspect of volatility. The next thing about crypto is they have what you call liquidity. I'll give an example here of two guys, one who bought land and one who bought a car, or three guys rather, and then we have someone else who bought crypto. So when it comes to selling these assets, someone who bought a car will have a very hard time to sell this car, because they need to contact a broker, they need to have what you call a car sale agreement, they need to engage the NTSA, the teams, before they're able to sell that particular property. And most likely, not most likely, but most definitely, the value for this car is going to have depreciated, because this is an asset that doesn't appreciate in value. Same case applies to the land. If I want to sell my piece of land, I'll be taken through a very vigorous process. First thing, the buyer will need to do a land search. They need to involve the registrar of lands. They need to involve the surveyor. They need to do the legal paperwork. You'll find that selling these particular assets can prove to be quite cumbersome. And in between, you'll have brokers who they need to have their share. Unlike selling crypto, whereby, for example, if I have my Solanas I wish to sell, what do? I just log into my exchange platform, look for their potential buyer, or if I want to trade my assets, I can just trade them on the ready market, get my money back, and I have sold my assets. So that can take me about 2-3 minutes, unlike these other two fellas who might end up spending even an entire month before they get a potential buyer or before they manage to sell their asset. So that is one aspect I really love about crypto, and that is the aspect of liquidity. Next thing is the issue of a perfect hedge against inflation. You've all seen what has been happening to the dollar, what has been happening to the euro, and the Kenya shillings as well. If I can maybe take you back about 1 or 2 years ago, the value of Kenya shillings to the dollar was about 105, 110 there. But if you check the value of Kenya shillings against the dollar right now, we are trading at about 125, 127, which is pretty much dangerous. However, in crypto, we normally say it's a perfect hedge against inflation, because unlike the Kenya shilling and the dollar, which is always go on an inflationary rate, the crypto is volatile. Either like it can go either way. However, we have coins which we call stable coins. These are coins like the USDT and the BUSD, which are normally pegged to the dollar. So if you are storing your assets in crypto, especially the stable coins, you will find that there is no point your assets are going to lose value due to the inflation, because they are always pegged to the dollar, which is like treated as the global currency. So that is one thing about crypto, and we always say that crypto is a perfect hedge against inflation. Next thing you're going to look at is now what trends are in crypto, and you can see most executives, for example, are leaving the banking industry, they're coming to crypto world. You've seen football clubs like Atletico Madrid signing sponsorship deals with cryptocurrency firms, and this tells you that guys are now moving towards that direction, and guys are embracing crypto in a manner that was not easily anticipated. Also, as I mentioned, Bitcoin has always been having an upward trajectory, and if you can see the prediction for the year 2022, 2025 and 2030, we expect by the year 2030 Bitcoin to have hit about $14,000. You've seen where we have come from a low of $900 in 2017. Within 5 years, we were able to move to an all-time high of $68,000. That is projected here. This was back in last year when Bitcoin was trading at $68,000. And now we're trading at $18,000 because of what has been happening in the market. So we expect by the year 2030, Bitcoin to have hit an high of about $300,000. So this is basically some good value, some good movement from the current price, because if you check $18,000 vis-a-vis $300,000, then if you do the math, that's some very good movement. Also in the year 2024, we're going to have what you call now the Bitcoin halving. And this is a process where the rewards for miners are normally cut into half. I'm sure maybe you don't know what miners are, but in time of our course, you're going to understand what miners are, what they do, and why halving is expected to have a bullish run on Bitcoin. So, also we've seen, as I've demonstrated earlier, that buying crypto right now is like buying real estate in Manhattan in the year 1800. Back then, the land was almost not valuable as it is right now. The same case is applying to crypto. Right now, most cryptos are actually on sale because the price that these assets are going for is basically insane. In the next 2, 3, 5 years to come, most of these assets are going to be very, very expensive, and it's gonna cost you almost an arm and a leg to get even 0.01 of a Bitcoin. It may seem affordable right now, but in the next years, as we have more adoption, as the market cap continues to grow, then the cost of accessing or acquiring 1 BTC or even 0.1 BTC is gonna go crazy, unlike the years that we've had in the past. Then we've seen countries like Iran approving the use of crypto for imports to burst sanctions, and this basically takes a massive adoption in this particular industry, and things are now heading in the right direction. So in our course or in our academy, basically we are going to have a very comprehensive course outline that you are going to look at that will transform anyone who is not in this industry, or those who are still in this industry but there are some aspects or some sections that they have not mastered well. That is well catered for in our course. So the first thing that we are going to look at is now what you call the overview of blockchain and the Satoshi value. So you've seen blockchain, or you heard about blockchain, and it's basically like a public ledger where all Bitcoin transactions are posted and anyone can be able to access them, such that if someone has sent you can always go to blockchain, and using the hash ID, you can be able to trace how the transaction is doing, whether the assets have been confirmed, or whether you have received them in your wallet. You're going to look at overview of blockchain. We're going to look at overview of Satoshi value. And this is one element that most people don't actually understand well. And this is when people normally ask you, like, how much money can I buy Bitcoin with? Because you've seen Bitcoin is currently trading at about $18,000. However, you don't need that $18,000 to buy that one Bitcoin. You can basically buy Bitcoin worth 100 Kenya shillings. You can buy Bitcoin worth 500 Kenya shillings. And this is made possible through what you call the Satoshi value. This is the least or the smallest unit of Bitcoin. We're going to look at the Satoshi value, whereby we'll see a Bitcoin is divided into a coin. We have the millibitcoins, we have the bits, and we have the Satoshi, which is now the smallest measurement of Bitcoin. We're also going to look at internet transactions. How do you transact online? How do you stay safe online so that your financial details are not or cannot land in the wrong hands, and you find yourself getting or facing financial miserables. Next, you're going to look at the issue of myths and misconceptions about crypto. As I started by mentioning, this is one industry or one area that has really messed up this industry of crypto, especially in Kenya, because people always perceive crypto as a scam. They perceive Bitcoin as a scam. But what these people normally do is that they go put their money in these Ponzi schemes that are promising them a very high ROI, Let's say, for example, they tell you, come give us your money, you're gonna trade for, you're gonna earn 1% every day. Do the math, 1% every day, that translates to about 7% every week, 28% every month. But ideally, what these guys are doing, they're running what you call a Ponzi scheme, where money from new investors is used to pay old investors. And when we have no more investors coming in, then the business collapse. So these guys are basically hiding under the umbrella of crypto, and they make you believe they are trading crypto, but they are not trading crypto, and they have fucked up and have messed this particular industry. Then we are going to look at the importance of crypto. How do we use it in our day-to-day life? How can we benefit from it in form of how can we make money from crypto? This is whereby we have the issues of trading, the issues of buying and holding, issues of hedge funding, issues to do with airdrops, and so many other ways. So we're going to look at all these ways of how to make money in crypto. Then we're going to look at types of crypto, because you've seen we have about 18,000 cryptocurrencies. But all these 18,000 currencies are divided into what we call now the types. Where we have the issues of stable coins, as I mentioned. We have the issues of the big caps. We have small caps. We have micro caps. We have meme coins. We have shit coins, and so on and so forth. Such that when you are investing in a coin, you know what project you are getting yourself into. You know, is it a big cap? Is it a micro cap? Is it a small cap? Is it a meme coin? Or which project am I basically entering into? Am I buying a coin? Am I buying a token? What are the fundamentals behind this particular project, so that you don't just buy a coin blindly without doing your due technical and fundamental analysis. Next, we are going to look at why people fear crypto. And this is basically what I've basically explained in the past slides, where we have the lack of the right information and knowledge, where guys don't know about crypto, they just perceive it as a scam. We have the fear of getting scammed, which is actually the biggest hindrance in this particular market. Negative news surrounding the industry, which normally call as food, that is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Then also the past history about crypto, where guys always associate crypto with criminal activities, where you are told that any wakora, it's used for criminals, and they steal your money. So these are some of the reasons why people fear crypto and why they are not entering into this particular industry. Also, the issue of not being a legal tender has actually made guys shun this industry. But this is something that should not give you worry at all, because the issue of crypto not being a legal tender, it doesn't mean that it is illegal. Those are two different aspects. Not being a legal tender and being illegal are two different elements. So that is one issue that is also giving guys goosebumps when they want to come to this industry. So we're gonna do all these particular factors. And one thing I would like to mention is that we have developed countries that have actually made crypto or Bitcoin to be more specifically a legal tender in their countries. We have countries like El Salvador. We have an African country, Central African Republic. They have made Bitcoin a legal tender in that you can walk to a shop, pay for your products using Bitcoin, to a supermarket, pay for goods using Bitcoin, and that is where we are heading in the current with the current trends. You've seen in the past slides, Iran has now opted to pay for their imports using crypto, so that they can basically have we can have like one currency that is used across the globe, which is not controlled by any particular government. For example, you see the US dollars is controlled by the US government, the Fed. They can decide to print $1 million, create inflation, but the issue of crypto, Bitcoin to be more specifically, that one is well taken care of, because with Bitcoin you can only have a maximum of 21 million coins. That means 21 million coins against a population of 8 billion plus people. So you can see how Bitcoin can really fight or can really act as a hedge against inflation. Next thing we are going to look at is what we call now the issue of scams that I've mentioned. You've seen Kenyans scammed about 50 million through the Eken investment pyramid scheme, where guys were being told, we're going to trade for you, we're going to give you like 1% every day. See, it's a good deal. I'm not saying that you don't have legit brokers out there. Yes, they are there, but most of them, actually like 80% of this particular brokerage are basically scams built on a Ponzi scheme, where money from old investors is used to pay new investors. And this is how they basically operate, where you are being told 2,200 and 3,300, 3,000, 4,500, 5K, 7,500, 10K, 15, and so on and so forth. So we are going to look at how do you identify such schemes, How do you distinguish such schemes from authentic platforms? Because yes, we have authentic platforms, we have brokerage out there who are licensed and who are regulated. And also you're going to look at how do you avoid these particular schemes so that you're not caught up in the course or in the deal of your involvement in this particular industry. The next thing we're going to look at is now what we call wallets and exchanges. And these are basically platforms where you store your crypto, because we don't store our coins in banks. We need to store them in wallets. So we look at wallets where we have the different types of wallets. For example, we have the mobile wallets, we have the hardware wallets, and we have wallets in exchanges. We have the custodial wallets, we have the non-custodial wallets. You're going to look at all that. Then you're going to dive into exchanges, and this is basically the issue of the centralized exchange platform and the decentralized exchange platforms. And these are basically act like shops where you normally buy your crypto. For example, if I want to buy crypto right now, I want to buy Bitcoin. Where do I buy this Bitcoin? You need to get it from an exchange platform. So look at these exchanges, which are the best exchanges to use in terms of liquidity, in terms of exchange score, in terms of average volume, and so on and so forth. We're also going to look at types of exchanges, and I've mentioned the issue of the SEXs and the DEXs. Then we look at wallet security, because crypto is not kept in a bank, as I mentioned earlier. So you need to safeguard your assets such that you're able to know how to keep them safe, because you don't expect to have a guard at your home who is watching over your assets or watching over your wallets. So there are those measures that we normally put in place so that you can ensure that our assets are safe. We're going to look at all those issues of the two-factor authentication, issues of the seed phrases, issues of the strong password, and so on and so forth. For example, if I can just share here an example of a non-custodial wallet. Let me just see whether I can get it. There we are. You can see this is a wallet, a MetaMask wallet, that currently has a balance of about $6,900. That is some good money. So you don't just leave your wallet like this without employing the necessary security measures. So we're going to look at how do you do all this. And these wallets are basically for buying tokens. We normally buy coins, most coins on exchange platforms. But when it comes to tokens that I've said they can give some good gains within a short period of time, we normally buy them now on these non-custodial wallets, where you link your wallet with a DEX platform, for example, PancakeSwap, JulySwap, and then you can be able to swap or exchange your tokens with the coins that you normally possess or the ones that you normally have. Next thing we're going to look at is now what you call crypto and analysis. And this is where we dissect a coin further and see what are the attributes of the metrics behind this particular coin. For example, if I can just take one coin here very quickly. If I can take a coin like Ethereum, you can see Ethereum right now is trading at $1,289. But there was a time this coin was trading at $70. That is about 8,000 Kenya shillings right now. But right now, one Ethereum going for about 140,000 Kenya shillings from an all-time high of 4,800. This is about almost 500,000. So we're going to look at the metrics surrounding this particular coin, issues of the white paper, the community, the source code, contracts, the issue of the market cap, the issues of the maximum supply, saturating supply, total supply, also the issues of the historical data, the markets, the estimates, and all the metrics surrounding this particular coin. So we're going to cover all that in the section of the crypto information and analysis. Next, we'll dive into the issue of buying and selling crypto and tokens, where we'll learn how to buy Bitcoin, how to buy Ethereum, how do you swap from Ethereum to Bitcoin, how do you buy coins that have not yet been listed in form of pre-sale and DEXs, or not DEXs, pre-sales and IDOs and ICOs. Just to show you for an example, we have one that is currently called the Tama Doge, and this project, we've already bought it on pre-sale. So we have like an early access to this coin before this coin gets listed to the public. And normally these are tokens that do really well, because people buy these tokens way after you have bought them already. And that is now the issues of the pre-sale come in. We're going to look at all this. How do you get into a pre-sale? How do you buy a coin early before others get to know about that particular coin? Then we're going to look at the crypto Bible, and these are the terms and terminologies that are used in the crypto atmosphere. For example, words like FOMO, what do you mean when you say JOMO? What do you mean when you say rect? What do you mean when you say a rug pull? And so on and so forth. We have over about 400 terminologies which are very, very key for you to survive in this particular industry. Next, look at what we call ICOs, that is the initial coin offering, IEO, that is the initial exchange offering, IDO, that is the initial DEX offering, as well as the pre-sale. And this is what I was mentioning earlier on, where you have an opportunity to buy a coin way before the coin gets listed on an exchange. You can see here that Tamadoj will list on OKEX at 12 p.m. BST on Tuesday, 27th of September. So we already have this coin. So when this coin gets listed, of course, we expect the price of this coin to go up parabolically because it's a new project. It has the hype. Guys are there. They are waiting for the coin. Those who are not able to buy at the pre-sale, they want to buy at launch. And this is how you make these gains that I'm showing you on these tokens that are being listed. So we're going to look at all that. We're going to look at how to invest in crypto. You don't just buy coins blindly because you see we have Ethereum, Bitcoin, you just want to buy each and every project. You don't do that. There is a formula that you use to buy these coins. You just can't come to CMC. You see I have Bitcoin. I want to put in Bitcoin. I want to put in BNB. I want to put in Polkadot because it's doing well, or Doge because it's 4%. I want to put in. We don't do that. We have a formula and a comprehensive method on how you invest in crypto. Also going to learn how to identify projects that have not yet launched, projects that are upcoming, those that have launched and how they are doing. We're going to look at all that. Then we're going to look at how do you build a portfolio. Because you might have several assets in different places. For example, you have your coins in Binance, you have other coins in local Bitcoins, you have coins in MetaMask, you have coins in Trust Wallet. So how do you harmonize all these particular coins in one central place? That is done with what you call now a portfolio. So we're going to look at how do you build a portfolio, how do you update your portfolio so that you can have something that looks similar to what you're seeing on the screen. How do I delete an asset from my portfolio if maybe I'm withdrawing some coins or I'm exchanging or I'm cashing out? We're going to look at all that, and that will be summed up by what we call the 50-25-25 rule, whereby we say 50% on big caps, 25% on small caps, 25% on medium caps, so that you have a portfolio that is well balanced, such that in case the big caps are doing good or the big caps are not doing good, these other projects are going to pull up your portfolio. Next thing we're going to look at is now what you call, there's some noise from the background. I don't know where it's coming from. Stephen Matiasi, please mute your microphone. Stephen Matiasi, please mute your microphone. Thank you, Stephen, for that. Then we're going to look at now what you call the fundamental analysis. Why we dissect a project and see what metrics are surrounding this particular project. We're going to look at what we call staking versus farming, because also in crypto we have farming, but in crypto we don't farm using forks, we don't go to the farm, we don't do harvesting, but there is a protocol, there is a way we stake and farm our assets in the crypto world. For example, I have some BNBs or I have some BUSD which I intend to hold, but rather than just holding those assets, I can go ahead and farm those assets or stake those assets so that I can be able to get more rewards from those particular assets. And that is we're going to look at when we're going to tackle the issues of liquidity mining and liquidity farming. Next thing we're going to look at is what we call now risk management. As we all know, no investment has no risk. You've seen in crypto, the main risk is the aspect of volatility. So how do you manage your risk in crypto? For example, you bought Bitcoin worth this amount, you have some BNB worth this amount. How do you balance the two? How do you prevent yourself from unforeseen events such that in case you have a crash or in case you have very high volatility, how are you able to protect yourself from such events? So we're going to look at all that in the aspect of risk management. Then we'll dive into NFTs, which have been the talk of town over the last few months. NFTs has always been there. We've seen Ronaldo doing an advert on NFT. We've seen Eliud Kipchoge selling his highlights as an NFT. We've seen so many things coming up as NFT. Also, we're going to have the Ballon d'Or program, that particular event, and the winners are going to be rewarded some NFTs. So we're going to look at NFTs in details, what they are, how do you create an NFT, how do you buy an NFT, how do you have an NFT in your wallet, and so on and so forth. Also, we're going to look at the issue of the metaverse, and this is where most businesses are heading in with the current generation. You've seen Facebook change its name from Facebook to Meta. So there's some business behind that, and they're actually trying to have a very huge muscle in the metaverse world, and that is why they actually shifted in that particular direction. So metaverse, what is the metaverse? How does crypto relate to the metaverse? How do you take part or participate in the metaverse, and so on and so forth? So that is going to be well catered for in the course of our discussion. Next thing we're going to look at now, I think this is what most guys are actually interested in, that is the issue of trading versus investing. You've seen, I believe most of you have seen some charts. Let me just see whether I can get that here. That you don't have an idea of what they are or what they are doing. You've just seen them maybe on billboards or on people's statuses or on some screens, moving some up and down where we have some green candles, we have some red candles, but you can't actually quite comprehend what these charts mean. So all that is going to be catered for in the course of our trading class. Let me just share a chart here so that you can see what we mean when we say trading versus investing. So we're going to look at trading. How do you set up a trade? How do you set up a trade below the market order? How do you take profit, that is setting up prices above the market order? How do you put a stop loss? How do you put a buy stop limit? How do you combine these two orders? For example, you want to have an OC order that has a take profit and has a stop loss as well. And these are the charts that I'm speaking about. You've seen these charts, I believe, in so many places, but you don't have an idea of what they are. So we're going to look at all this in detail in our trading class. So we're going to look at trading, we're going to look at investing, and that is those guys who don't want to trade, they just want to buy coins, hold on them. With the example that I given earlier of those guys who one bought land, the other one bought crypto, and they compare themselves in a period of 5 years. You've seen that the one who bought crypto will be way above the guy who bought land. We're going to look at spot trading. We're going to look at technical and fundamental analysis because for you to trade, you need to have a good aspect of technical analysis, that is analyzing the market, reading the candlesticks, identifying the charts, checking the indicators, the issue of the ATR, issues of the Bollinger Bands, issues of the moving average, and so on and so forth. That is going to be well taken care of in the issue of technical analysis and fundamental analysis. Also, we're going to look at what we call futures trading. And this is basically trading using leverage, where you're trading using a higher amount of funds than in what you have. For example, if you have $100, you can open a trade with a volume or a margin of $1,000. And that is made possible through the use of what we call leverage. So we're going to look at how do you use leverage, how do you relate a size, a margin, a leverage, an ROE, all that's going to be well taken care of in the course of our futures trading. Then we'll wind up that particular section with what we call cryptocurrency loans. And this is where you have some assets that you don't wish to dispose anytime soon. But there's a project that you've seen, maybe it has a very high staking reward, and you want to go that particular way. So you can basically go to exchange platform, take a quick loan, give your assets as collateral, go do your thing. Once done, come back, pay a loan, very low interest rate, and you're able to move forward. So that will basically sum up our course, and that is going to span for a period of 6 weeks. So what you're seeing here is basically a highlight of what to expect, because there's actually much more that is in store in this particular course. And 6 weeks is not a short time, and at the same time it's not a long time, because at some point we may end up even spending more time than those 6 weeks, because there are some issues and some topics, for example, technical analysis, which may require much more time, because it's very critical for you to know how to read these charts, know how to read these candles, so that you can open a trade comfortably on your own. Also, the issues of the fundamental analysis is very important, so that before you buy a coin, before you buy a project, you have done your due diligence and you are able to buy or enter a project with so much confidence because you believe in the project. So that aside, the mode of teaching, you're going to have basically 4 modes of teaching. The first mode of teaching is now what you call the theory classes, because what has been idea in the past, because this is not our first academy actually, we've done 4 classes since January. This is going to be our 5th class. It's going to be the last of this particular year. So what has been the tradition is that we have theory classes, and this is whereby we are in one forum. I come in the forum, I do a presentation in form of text. I basically lock that particular forum for that period. Once I'm done, I can be able to open the forum. If there are any questions, I can be able to address them. And this has proven to be very, very effective, because at times you might be caught up in traffic, you're not able to make it to class on time. And once you are home, you can be able now to go to the forum and see what that we've been discussing, so that you're always at par with each other, because we don't want guys to lag behind because they were inconvenienced in one way or another. The next aspect or the next mode of teaching is now what you call the practical sessions. These are the live classes. For example, trading, issues of buying of tokens, issues of technical analysis. You can't do that theoretically. That has to be done in a live class. So we'll have live classes in Meet, like the one we are having right now. These are basically classes that are going to be recorded, and they're going to be sent directly to your email immediately after the end of the class. So once the class is over, you'll get that whole recording of what you've discussed, what you've taught, sent to your email, such that even if you are late for class, you're not able to access your or what you've not been able to see what you are learning at your own free time, maybe over the weekends or maybe when you are free. You can be able to go to your email, watch that particular class that you are doing, and be able to catch up with the rest of the members. Also, because this is a school, this is an academy, you're going to have assignments, but not those assignments like the ones you used to have in high school or campus. Just something small to ensure that you master the content, and just to challenge your brain a little bit so that you can be able to move together in one direction. So as I said, our live classes are always recorded for future reference, so that in case you've not gotten a concept well, you can always go back and see what you've discussed and be able to move forward together with the team. So that being said, I wish to open the forum for any questions before I make my final remarks. Very fast, if you have any question before you make remarks. Let me just check the chat box if we have any question. Any question before you make my final remarks? No question. Is it that it's not clear, or you've understood what I've said? Let me just scroll down. No question from me, however. This was very informative. Yeah, thank you. How many days in a week? What has been the tradition is that we normally have our classes every day, Monday to Friday, apart from weekends. For 6 weeks, that is 5 days a week, 1 hour every day. Concentrating trading, I beg to ask, is there a certificate after the awards? Yes, after the training, after the academy, we normally have certificates for those guys who have completed the course. We'll have like a small quiz at the end, but not something that is so hard, so that you can award those particular certificates. Next, let me now make my final remarks. This class is very, very informative. This information, you cannot get it with ease. So it's not going to be free, because we are over 200 guys in that particular group. So what has been the tradition always, the class has always been charged. So the charges for this particular class are going to be $60. And once I say $60, I believe most of you will think that $60 is equivalent to 6,000 Kenya shillings. So we normally work with the dollar rate. So the current cost for this class, $60 into Kenya shilling, that's going to sum up to 7,230 for the entire 6 weeks. So that will span from the beginner level all the way up to the expert level. The whole cost combined is going to cost you 7,230 Kenya shillings, or $60, because We normally do this so that we can have guys who are committed, guys who are willing to learn, guys who are willing to embrace the industry. Because one thing that people fail to understand is in crypto, you can't come to crypto and expect to make money from airdrops and make some good money. For example, the figures that you are seeing on my screen, for example, this $6,900, you can't make this money from airdrops. You need to have money so that you can buy these particular coins, enter these projects so that you can be able to make some good money out of them. For example, a coin like Bitcoin. You feel right now Bitcoin is trading at $18,000. So you don't expect you go to some random site and you are told to click here, click there, click here, click here, get Bitcoin. It doesn't work that way. You need to have money, buy this coin, hold this project, trade them, for example, and that is how you are able to make some good gains in the cryptocurrency world. So those are going to be the charges, and the class is going to be capped. I forgot to mention about that. The class is capped to a maximum of 30 students. So once you hit 30 students, we are not enrolling anymore. In the past, we've had instances where guys are coming in late, way after we've started the class. We are in for the first week, then they want to come on board. We don't do that. So once we started our classes, that is on Monday, I will not enroll anyone anymore. So you have between today, that is Friday, and Monday to make your payment if you wish to be part of this class. And after Monday, we are not going to accept any payments. And once, not just after Monday, once we hit the hard cap of 30 students, we're not going to enroll anyone else in the academy. We've had, as I mentioned, scenario where guys always coming late after the first week. So we're not going to condone that, and we'll only take the admission on the basis of first come, first served. So the course is going to have objectives. The first objective, ensure you have sufficient knowledge to be able to sell the crypto world on your own. Also connect with other crypto traders and enthusiasts across the entire world. Then join our growing Apex community, where we intend to create our own coin in the future. Because we've seen we have over, this is 21,000 right now. 21,000 coin. So why don't we have our own coin here listed as Apex coin? Let's say, for example, we have a market cap of $10,000 or $10 million. We are in, let's say, in the top 20, top 50, because this has been done in the past. We have a project that was done by Africans. Let me just share it. Very, very fast here. We call that project BFT. That is the Big 5 token. You've seen it has now a market cap of $17 million. But this is one project that has actually done very, very well. You've seen right now it's going at $0.0001. So in the next few months, this project, I promise you, is gonna be big. It's gonna kill another zero, another zero, and find it sway maybe in the top caps or even the medium caps. So don't ignore such projects, because they always give guys some very good gains at the end of it all. Then the next objective is to specialize in the various crypto fields, because we have so many fields rather. We have traders, we have those guys who are hodlers. They just buy, sit on a project, then wait for the coin to do its thing. We have those guys who are into airdrops. We have those guys who are into mining, guys who are into dual invest. That's one thing I forgot to mention. We have those guys who are actively into staking. We have those guys who are in yield farming, and so many other areas. So at the end of the course, you should be able to have identified an area that you feel you are very much comfortable, and you can be able to venture into that particular area with more ease. And that's gonna sum our discussion and our interaction. So after the 6 weeks, after this session rather, expect those guys who wanna learn all things crypto from the very basic, as I've demonstrated, up to the most advanced. I make your payment and reserve your as a slot for the class, so that on Monday we can basically roll and kickstart our 5th academy. So that being said, I wish to give the chance one more to those guys who have any question before we call it off. Any question? No question. So I believe that has been very, very interactive. So
sorry, I wanted to ask.
Yes, there's a question.
Sorry, Arnold. Yeah, I wanted to ask how do you make the payments?
I'm gonna share those details in the group after this call. So I'll give a detailed explanation on how you make your payment for those guys who want to be part of that particular class. I'm gonna share those in the group that you are in, the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thanks.
So being said, if we don't have any other question, I see someone is raising his hand. That is Ashim. Ashim, you can proceed with the question, please.
Yes, Arnold.
Yes.
I was like, for example, now for me, I'm here in Uganda.
Yep.
How will I attend the lessons, all the classes? Are they done online also?
I think you missed a point because our academy is purely online. So most of our classes are done online through
Yes.
or Google Meet, like the one you're normally having right now. I believe you got the same time zone with Kenya, so it's not it's not gonna inconvenience you because in the past we've had instances where you have students from the US, guys are coming from Australia, and the issue of time zone was really a big factor. But I believe we'll be in the same time zone, so that's not gonna be much of a concern. One last one before we call it off. No question. So thank you so much, guys, for your attending. You've been an awesome audience. No distractions. Very cooperative. So see you in class for those who are gonna join, and let's go all together to the moon. Something I forgot. I said I'm gonna give a free slot to one person in the academy. So let me just do that right now for those who are present. Someone is saying tough music. I have a question. Please ask your question as I type the names of those guys who are here, so that we can do a random draw and see who's gonna get that lucky ticket. So we have the first person, who is Elizabeth. So if you have a question, you can just unmute yourself, ask your question very, very fast. We have Hope, Jack, and Junet. We have this is Hope, Jack, and Junet. So one guy is gonna be a lucky winner, and that is gonna pay the $60, and you're gonna enroll to our academy on a free pass. We have Janet and Mwende. This is Janet. We have Mwende. Who else do we have here? We have this is Mwende. After Mwende, we have Lydia and Lynette. We have Lydia. We have Lynette. Someone was typing. They have a question. Please ask your question. We have Lynn, Martin, and Mercy. We have Lynn, Martin, and Mercy. Any question? We have Miss Kamau, Michelle, and Mulani. That is Miss Kamau, Michelle, and Mulani. There's are quite many. Let me just try and hurry up. We have Douglas, Paul, and Rami. This is Douglas, Paul, and Rami. Who else do we have here? Let me just check. We have Sen, Stephen, and Tough Music. That is Sen, Stephen, and Tough Music. Who else is here? We have Valerie. I think Valerie is the last entry. Valerie. So I have how many entries are these? How many guys are here? The last entry is myself, who have not included. So watch this very carefully because I want to be as fair as possible. Don't say that I picked person A because maybe I know him or I'm favoring him or her. So I'm gonna spin this, and whoever the wheel is gonna pick is gonna win the free pass, and it's going to be enrolled directly to the academy, your first student. So let's get the wheel rolling in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see. Who is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Martin, Paul, Rami, Sen, Stephen, Tough Music, or Valerie? Let's see, Valerie. We have a winner. Valerie is our winner. Valerie, are you in the meeting?
Yes, I'm in the meeting.
Valerie Bani is in the meeting. You sound so excited.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm honored.
Yeah, Valerie is our first student in the academy. So we currently have 29 slots remaining because one has already been won by Valerie. So for the rest of us, you know the drill, you know how to get into the academy. So see you there. Thank you so much for attending. Good night, everyone. Good luck and God bless you. Goodbye.